I'm pretty sure you have seen more Mexican movies and TV shows than I have, like in the last 20 years.
Um,
I'm pretty sure because I kind of stopped watching Mexican
okay,
movies and TV shows.
okay.
Um, so it's not a complete divorce. I do have some
Mm-hmm.
movies that I can mention that are like the best, some of the best movies,
Okay.
Mexican movies I've seen. But the reason I stopped watching Mexican movies and TV shows is
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that Mexican movies and TV paint a skewed portrayal of Mexican culture to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Because most stories in Mexican movies and TV come from a small group of creators concentrated in places like Mexico City, the Mexico City metropolitan area, um,
Mm.
or more recently, regional hubs like Guadalajara and Monterrey. Okay.
Mm.
So I was, what I was seeing was just a bunch of stories set in Mexico City. And even if they were not set there, even if they were set outside of Mexico City, they were still made by someone from Mexico City, from their perspective, right?
Okay.
So, so I noticed that bias, and I got really bored. I got really bored of
Sure.
seeing
Sure.
those same stories. I started to
Mm-hmm.
question where are the other voices? Where are the other stories in Mexico?
Yep.
So here are some stats. And this is the most obvious. Uh, there are 133 million Mexicans living in Mexico. That's 133 million Mexicans living in Mexico.
Okay.
Most of us are not chilangos. so so
Chilangos, guys, for those in Slantinos listening, are people that are born and bred or living in Mexico City.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just to be
Different
clear,
animal. It's like a
yeah,
New Yorker.
yeah, like New
Mm-hmm.
York. So just to be clear, approximately 83.5% of Mexican residents live outside of the Mexico City metropolitan area. Okay, so that's 83.5. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the next estimates, these are not hard numbers. These are just guesses. These are just estimates.
Okay.
But here's the first one. From 70 to 80% of Mexican movies and TV shows are made by filmmakers or writers living in or strongly tied to the Mexico City metropolitan area. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
either by origin or career bias.
Mm-hmm.
Although regional hubs like Guadalajara and Monterrey, they do contribute
Yeah.
significantly.
Yeah, that's like
Um,
really recent.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
more recent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's another estimate. Roughly 50 to 60% of Mexican productions might be set outside of Mexico City. I thought it was less, but it's more like half.
Mm-hmm.
From 50 to 60% of Mexican productions might be set outside of Mexico City, the stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the next estimate estimate is about positive versus negative representation. Okay.
Mm.
So of the 50 to 60% of stories set outside of Mexico City,
Mm-hmm.
40 to 50%, like almost half, 40 to 50% have it's a negative representation. So
Mm-hmm.
they're really focused. These are like crime heavy stories, like
Sure.
narco tales set in Tijuana
Anything
and
that has to do
Sinaloa.
with drugs and
Yeah,
crime. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that's from 40 to 50%. Then from 30 to 40%, those are positive. So that they focus more on the cultural celebration and other places like Oaxaca, Yucatan. And
Mm-hmm.
from 10 to 20%, that's mixed or neutral. So it's a more balanced or ambiguous storytelling,
Yeah.
unbiased. Okay, so what global audiences and even Mexicans are getting is a curated version of Mexicanness. So think of the slang. The slang you're seeing is Mexico City slang. The humor is Chilango humor. All the cartel cliches. It's not the full mosaic, right? So, Paulie, I wanted to ask you, as someone who spotlights Latino entertainment, how do Mexican movies and TV look from your perspective?
Well, the export that that gets imported here, whether it's on a whether it's television, well, let's just say streaming, Netflix, that type of stuff, majority of it is connected to crime.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
even
crime sells.
Right, crime sells. Even when it's a, told from the story of, the Federales, what is it? Contraataque that just came out. And I was talking to the director for a minute. And because I really like that flick, because it's like the first time you're seeing, the good guys shown, like Tom Cruise, hero type, you know what I'm saying? And that, the narcos are pieces of shit. Very simple, good and bad.
Yeah.
Great flick, man. It's a great flick. I hadn't seen something like that come out of Mexico, because all you're getting is the Narcos Mexico. Even was it Cell 21 with Diego Calva? Where it's what is prison gangs taking over, and it's very well done. Don't get me wrong; it's still entertaining, but it's more of that, like you said. The ones that are more artistic, you have to dig for in film festivals, right? That maybe they get a streaming deal. Very rare that they get distributed. So, then the filmmakers are very chilango, right? And then they stop doing quote unquote Latino films.
Okay.
And they're working with the Brad Pitts, and they're doing, mainstream movies, which I think is great. I mean,
that's great.
Iñárritu's doing a film with Tom Cruise. But those three men, for the last 25 years, have dictated, Mexican directors in Hollywood. Now you have Isa Lopez, who cracked it with I Loved Her, Tigers Are Not Afraid film. So I see that. So, and I really get that a very few, a minority, I really understand that, how they dictate culture of a people. The Latinos in Hollywood, which are pretty much Latinxers, they dictate a lot of our stories on this side from their very small peak hole, like this, where we're this, and it's like, it's okay, representation matters, but does it really if the presentation is terrible and gets canceled? Or like, who remembers anything that these people have done? Because a lot of what they've done is forgettable or got canceled. So there's so many battles there. I think what you're seeing with some of these filmmakers now is they're kind of creating their own distribution, their own production, their own pipeline. And it's kind of interesting. And it's Latino, it's not just Mexican.